McDonald's, with its golden arches and ever-familiar menu, stands as a beacon of convenience and comfort, open 24 hours a day. But even in such a place, the unexpected can occur, leaving behind memories that refuse to fade. My tale is one such encounter, etched deeply in my mind. 4 years ago, when I was 18, I needed a job to help pay for my college expenses. I had just started my freshman year at the University of Calgary, and the costs were already piling up. My parents could only help so much, so I had to find a job to cover my tuition and living expenses. After searching for weeks, I finally secured a position at a McDonald's in Calgary, about a 20-minute drive from campus. Determined to keep my job, I agreed to work any shift my boss assigned, whether it was day or night. Initially, I worked only day shifts, which allowed me to balance my studies and work relatively well. One Thursday, my boss, Mr. Thompson, called me into his office. He was a stern but fair man in his mid-50s, with a neatly trimmed beard and a penchant for wearing crisp white shirts and black ties. He had a way of making you feel both nervous and comfortable at the same time. "Alex," he began, looking at me over his glasses, "you've been with us for a few months now, and I've been impressed with your dedication and work ethic. You've handled the day shifts well, and I think it's time for you to take on some night shifts." I hesitated for a moment, considering the implications. Night shifts meant fewer customers, but also fewer staff, which could be both a blessing and a curse. Mr. Thompson must have sensed my hesitation, because he quickly added, "Nights are usually quiet. You might even find it less stressful. Plus, you'll get a slight pay increase for the night shift." That last part caught my attention. The extra money would be helpful, and I figured I could manage my studies around it. So, I agreed, and Mr. Thompson scheduled my first night shift for Saturday, from midnight until 5 a.m. Saturday night arrived, and I reported to McDonald's at midnight. The restaurant, usually bustling with activity, was eerily silent. The only sounds were the faint hum of the overhead lights and the occasional beep from the kitchen equipment. The manager on duty, a young woman named Sarah, briefed me on my duties: refilling the condiment stations, cleaning the floors, and wiping down the tables. She handed me a long list of tasks and then left for the night, leaving me alone in the hushed restaurant. The night started uneventfully. McDonald's was eerily silent, but I was too engrossed in my work to notice. Time flew by, and soon it was 2 a.m. I found it odd that no customers had shown up, but I was more concerned with finishing my tasks. As I restocked the coffee supplies, an unsettling feeling crept over me, as though someone was watching me. I brushed it off, thinking it was just my nerves from working late. But then, I glanced at the window and saw a dark silhouette outside. It looked like someone was standing there, staring at me. I told myself it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. After all, who would be out there at this hour? I continued my work, trying to ignore the feeling. A while later, I looked at the window again. The silhouette seemed closer now, more defined. I reassured myself that it was just fatigue making me see things, and decided not to look outside anymore. As I focused on cleaning the tables, I heard a soft tapping noise. My heart pounded as I glanced at the window once more. This time, my fear was confirmed. A figure stood there, its eyes glowing an unnatural red, staring directly at me and tapping on the glass with long, bony fingers. I couldn't stay there any longer. I quickly hung the closed sign on the front door grabbed my keys, and ran to my car. Trembling, I called my manager and told him I was feeling ill and had to go home. He didn't question me and allowed me to leave. I didn't mention the figure to my manager, knowing he wouldn't believe me. Somehow, I made it home, feeling a wave of relief as I stepped through the door. That night, I resolved never to work a night shift again, even if it meant finding a new job. To this day, the memory of that night at McDonald's in Calgary haunts me. I often wonder who or what that figure was and why it chose to appear to me. All I know is that the encounter left a scar on my soul, a reminder that sometimes the most terrifying experiences occur in the most ordinary places.